What's going on, everybody? We back at it again with MVP, Most Valued Podcast, a podcast embracing the American football culture. I'm Terrence Owens.
And I'm TJ Richardson. Here on MVP, we'll be giving you the real and raw conversations from current and former professional athletes and coaches. This podcast is dedicated to European players and coaches wanting to develop their knowledge of the game and culture. If you're an American football fan, this podcast is for you.
Let's get into it. This is the Preseason, episode 2. TJ, how you feeling, man?
I'm feeling good, man. I think our first podcast episode went really well. Got a lot of positive feedback.
Yeah, definitely.
For us, it was just a good chance to get our feet wet, in this game and just get some experience, get our first episode out the way.
Yeah, definitely, man. I appreciate, all the, like you said, all the feedback, all the comments, positive and, critical comments as well, man. This is just not going to do anything but, help us out at the end of the day.
Yeah, we appreciate everything. So feel free to DM us on the websites, on the social medias, on any platforms, and let us know how we feel. Like the pages, subscribe to them, leave comments, just support your boys.
That being said, man, let's get into it.
Yes, sir. How you feel? Fired up. Today we want to get into motivation and leadership. Now, Terrence, we know football, it's a lot of hard days.
Yeah.
Like we have 2 days during training camp, 5 a.m. workouts during spring ball, winter conditioning. I want to know what motivates you to get up and go through that stuff. How do you get through it?
Man, yeah, honestly, man, it's all about like the end goal. It's about that ring at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Because again, when you are, waking up early, doing these 2 days with your teammates, that's the ultimate goal. Is to for my case, to win a Mancz championship.
Yeah.
You want to get to that championship. So for me, the motivation is really more of winning that ring, getting that ring at the end of the day.
Okay.
What about you?
I mean, it got to be the same thing. I mean, I think for me, training camp is easier because you're so close to it. It's
exactly.
Like, doing the 2 days, getting through training camp. For me, it's like we want to win the PSAC championship.
Yeah.
Now that I'm in Europe, we want to win a national championship.
Yeah.
Like that's always the goal. So it's just waking up every day, just thinking like, all right. I have my individual goals, like, I want to be the, all conference. I want to make big plays. I want to be all American. Like, I want to, be one of the best DBs in the country.
Exactly.
So that's, I want my team to be successful. So for me, like, winning has always been like a big motivation. It's harder in the winter conditioning because, it's so far away from the season. It's really hard to get up at.
That's when it gets crucial, man. Yeah. You're like, what am I doing here, man?
Right. I'm like, it's 5 a.m. in the winter, and I'm like, man, we ain't even seen the ball in a month. So it make it way harder then. Like that's really tough. I mean, I know for quarterbacks, I don't know how y'all winter conditioning look, but
I mean, shit, winter conditioning as quarterbacks, we do everything. Like like we get basically we used to get split up. We used to get drafted into teams.
Okay.
So, we had our individual teams, and then we would compete against each team. So you had to come with it. Or let's say, for an example, if you lose your individual battle, you had to wear an orange jersey.
Oh, okay.
Or a green jersey. An orange jersey was basically our rivalry color school. So you don't want to have that orange jersey on. So again, it's 6 a.m. Shit, you gotta come out. You gotta come out ready. We had the tire pull. The chasing. We did everything. So as quarterbacks, winter conditioning, we not necessarily QBs at the end.
Yeah,
of the
okay,
day,
I got you.
But I think going back to the motivation, I think for me it's just all about winning. I mean, if our goal as a team is to win, I think that's the ultimate goal. Like, I'll be very motivated because I think, like, as far as individual stats, if we win it, the stats is going to come.
True.
You know what I mean? So I think my ultimate thing is about winning.
I feel you on that. Like, of course, you've been a captain before, of course, being a quarterback. Like, you always have to find a way to motivate people around you. Like, how? Everybody has different styles in which they do that. What's your style? How do you get down when it comes to motivation?
So for me, I'm more, as you know me already, I'm more of a calm guy. So I'm not the typical vocal quarterback, I should say. I mean, I am vocal, but I'm not as vocal as much. I'm more of a lead by example type of guy. Yeah. And I'm more of a take a player to the side and say, hey, man, let's go, bro. Like, let's go. It's time versus me, huddling everybody up. Like, obviously, there's times where, it's needed, but at the same time, I'm more of a, take an individual, guy to aside and say, hey, man, you the best receiver we got, man. This your day today.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's go to work today. You know what I mean? Things like that versus, being the extra vocal leader. But yeah, I'm more of a lead by example type of guy.
I understand that.
Yeah. Like high school, for an example, you know, I was when I was a freshman, we had a senior quarterback, a guy named Arvell Nelson. He was the lead by example guy. He's the reason why I'm like, you know, I wanted to be him because I was following him. He was the leader. I was the follower at that time. You know, he taught me how to be a leader, and he was always the guy first in running. You know, on the conditionings, he's always, you know, just outrunning everybody. He was outworking everybody, and he really didn't have to say anything. Everybody knew. You know, everybody can trust him. Everybody knew what he would. He was a leader just because he would outwork everybody. It was never a question. You know. So yeah. What about you as far as, you know, leadership?
I mean, I think when I was younger, I was the lead by example kind of person. Like I was, you know, I really wasn't too big into talking, like, or not unnecessarily. Like, I'm not gonna be the person in the middle of the huddle getting everybody hype. You know what I mean, saying a whole lot of stuff. I just was more so like, I mean, a game changer. Like I always tried to put like, you know what I mean, my leadership is gonna show on the field when we come to play. When we need to make a first down, I'm gonna go get it. When we gotta make a tackle, I'm gonna make it happen. Like through that, you'll know like every time that we need like true motivation on the field during the game, like that was my thing. Like I think as I got older, I mean, and I became a more prominent player. Like I know coaches around me started to expect more. They were kind of just like, "Yeah, listen, like I know that may not be your thing, but you know, what I mean, this is what it takes. Like this is what it takes for you to lead some of these people, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Like you know, what I mean, you really gotta, you know, what I mean, you gotta get people fired up sometimes. Like you can't. You know what I mean? Just sit in the back. You can't lead from the back. Like, you know what I mean? That was one of the things my coaches said for me. So he's like, yo, this may not be you, but you got to let me step up and can take that role, even if it's not you. So I think I started after a certain point in time, I think probably towards my junior year in college, I started getting more vocal, where it was like, all right, if nobody's going to step up, then I'll be the person to say something. I'll get you fired up. I'll get in your face. Just that I'll get the energy out of me, and hopefully it transfers to you. You know what I mean? So now you know me. Now I'm in the huddle. You know what I mean? Yelling at people, getting hyped.
So you are that guy in the middle now.
Now it's like
which gets me fired up. You know, I used to love. You know, we come. You know, we run out. You know, run out the tunnel. You know, we get into that huddle. You know, you was that guy. You know, getting everybody fired up, and especially to be out here in Europe. You know, with the Polish players, for example, like, you know, getting them fired up and just seeing, you know, your passion. You know, like you can see the passion though. So. Like, but what you just said though, as far as like the coaches, you know, like I got that a lot as well. So for an example, me being a quarterback, so it's a leader is more of expected for me, but at the same time, I had my own way of leading. And again, I would have a coach like the offensive coordinator say, "Hey, I know that, you know, you're not a vocal, you know, you're not as vocal of a leader, but you know, I'm gonna need you to, you know, do this and that." So it was times where I was like rebelling at, you know, at some point, like, you know, coach. You know me, coach. Like again, like I'm gonna lead. You know, I'm gonna do my thing. I know, like I know how to talk to my players. I know how to talk to my teammates. So let me do my way. But at the same time, like I didn't see like the bigger picture at the end of the day. You know, but then again, like I would say, like, you know, junior, senior year as well. Like I started to get more vocal. Like just like for an example, like in the locker room. You know, I don't know how you guys did it. We had like the offense in one room, defense in the other room.
Same.
So like, you know, I would talk to the whole offense. Hey, bro, like it's time. You know, we here now. You know, I still say that to this day. Like we here now. It's like it's no need to, you know, strap up your equipment, put your cleats on, and then go out and flop. You know, we already here. Don't be scared now, bro. So I want to ask you this: what about I mean, we talked about it a little bit briefly, but like from college or in the States period to now in Europe. Like, is there a difference of leadership? Like, for example, is there a difference in being more vocal? Just because, for an example, we are imports and we are expected to be, you know, players, coaches, and things. So how is that for you?
I mean, kind of like what you said. Like, I think when you get out here as an import, like it's an expectation for you now. Like people, that's part of it. What comes with the deal, comes with the package. Like people expect to look to you to get fired up. They're like, you know, when they come to the game, you know how it is when they come to the game. A lot of players is flat. They don't come out with the energy they need, and they'll wake up by the second quarter. But you know how it go when you playing good teams. Like second quarter, it's too late. It's a wrap. So you know what I mean. I think like just the pressure and the need to be very vocal just became that much more important when I came over here to Europe. Like I had to speak up. I had to talk because then everybody looking to me because you the leader, you the captain, you know, you the import. Everybody's like, well, you got to be that guy. Like that's got to be you.
Have you ever ran into a situation like where you were being vocal, and I'm talking like when you first got out here, for instance, let's just say when you were in Germany, you were that leader, you know, captain guy. was there a time where like you felt like the your teammates didn't respond to you because of the language barrier?
I mean, I felt like when we're having conversations, maybe after practice or something like that, when it's a little more chill and it's a little more calm, I think then maybe a language barrier became a problem at times. But I think when it comes to like during the game at halftime or before game, I think it's less about what you say and more about the energy that you bring.
The energy, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You could throw a couple, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Couple curse words in there, couple swear words in there. You know what I mean? Say it loud, and it's people feed off the energy.
Yeah, they feel it. Yeah.
They just want to feel. They want to feel like somebody's confident, somebody's aggressive, that they're not scared. Like when you come that kind of courage, like man, I don't care who steps on the field. I'm about to beat whoever step out here, like straight like that. I think they feel that and they're like, okay, I can do that too. Like I'll lead. I can have that same energy. Like I can feed off that. So. Yeah, not so much a language barrier, but it's more so about, and I think even in the States, I kind of feel it's the same way. A lot of times, it's less, you know what I mean? Of course, if you Ray Lewis, then of course you're saying some stuff that's really hitting you deep. But I think a lot of times, a lot of people just kind of feel the energy, and I think anybody before a game is nervous. You know what I mean? I think anybody who tell you they wasn't nervous, that they didn't feel nothing like that, it's like, you know what I mean? I don't really believe them. You know what I mean?
So for me, in that statement, I was not necessarily nervous though.
Okay.
I wouldn't even say anxious, but the first play, I would be nervous first play.
Okay.
So like before the game, I'm like, hey bro, we about to whoop their ass. You know what I mean? That was nothing to me. But again, it was all about the first play. I don't care if I'm saying go and hand the ball off. You know, once I got that first play out, it was time. That was me. That was getting my nerves out the first play.
Yeah. For me, it's like after they do the coin toss, like once the coin toss is done, that's when my nerves step in. It's like, okay, we getting ready to, before the game, I'm real chill, I'm real quiet. Like it doesn't, you know what I mean, nothing special. You know what I mean? But once they flip the coin, it's like, all right, it's about that time. Like from that point until I get my first contact, I'm nervous throughout that point. Like I'm anxious, I'm nervous.
I got you.
Point.
I got you.
For sure.
What about the like let's just talk about like before, let's just talk about out here in Europe. Before like the kickoff, like right before the kickoff, like you said, like the coin toss, how are you even motivated? Like for an example, like like the crowd. So for an example, in Poland, the football is growing. It's growing tremendously here, but at the same time, it's still kind of like a baby, so to speak. How is that? Is it motivating for you to like to be in front of like a lesser crowd? For an example. I
mean, for me, like I've always felt better when it's more pressure. So for me, the more people watching, the more pressure that's on the line. Like for me, that's what gets me up. Like that's what gets me excited. So we playing a good team at their stadium.
I'm the same way.
Playoffs on the line or something on the line like that. Bigger crowd, bigger emotions, like TV. Like that stuff gets me more charged up, gets me more excited.
I got you. So now I should ask the question like this. So do you feel a little bit, less motivated when it's not, a big crowd, or it's like a, let's say the team isn't like, not so good competition?
Definitely.
So does that like bring your level of motivation down a little bit?
Definitely. It's really hard for me, and I think for me it's always been a problem ever since like I was younger. Like when it's always come to like when it's sorry teams or teams that I know we just gonna win, or they, you know what I mean. I don't have that same feeling. Like I'm just kind of like. I'm like, you know what I mean? Why? Not why am I wasting my time with you? But I'm like, this won't take my full effort or my full concentration to really beat you. My coaches have to really get on me about that, because they'd be like, yo, when it's the small games, it's like you're not really, you know what I mean? What's going on? But when it's the big games, you show up. But these small games, and he's like, you can't. It was like you can't be a kind of person that show up, you know what I mean, in the big games and then don't show up, you know what I mean, on the small games.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? You gotta keep it the same way. But for me, it's super hard when we go play. You know what I mean? Some of these teams that we play, and it's like, oh, we know we finna beat these dudes 50-0. Like, you know what I mean? It's hard for me to. By halftime, I'm like, all right, I'm ready to, you know what I mean, get on the bus, like, go home. Like,
so how do you feel about? Again, we in Poland right now. How do you feel about the Polish players' motivation and mentality? Not even leadership, the mentality going into like these big games. Let's just use Wrocław Panthers, for an example. Like, how do you feel like their mindset is? Because for me, for an example, I feel like they would rather play that lesser opponent and be more, hyped and have more energy versus playing like the top team in the country.
Yeah, yeah. I think you're completely right about that. I feel like people, especially here, like players get the mindset where it's like if there's somebody they know they can beat, that they know they can dominate, then they want to celebrate after the plays or after the tackles. Then they get excited to play the games. It's like it's the reversal of kind of how we feel. Like they play a less team, they're like, oh yeah, we about to have a field day today. Like we really juiced up today.
Exactly.
Like, you know what I mean? That's like it's a weird kind of
it's
for me.
Weird,
it's weird.
Bro. It's very
it's
weird. And I feel like us being out here, we have to change that. We have to change that mentality. Just because that's only going to bring like the competition. In the sport, it's going to bring it to another level. We got to change that for sure, bro.
Definitely. Now I got a question it's on topic, but it's off topic at the same time. Like pre-game, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
How do you motivate yourself? Like, what do you got a certain playlist you listen to?
Music.
Do you have a certain ritual? Like, what do you do? Like,
I listen to music, bro. Like, it's not even a certain playlist. It's about just what I have been listening to like the past week.
Okay.
Like a let's just say Lil Baby. Just use him for an example. He got a recent album that just came out.
Yeah.
You gonna play those same 5 songs on the album. So it's just the music, bro. Like I need music at the end of the day. That gets me right. You got to hear some type of music. I can't go into like a game and just hear nothing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I feel you.
It doesn't even feel right at the end of the day.
I got you. You got any other pre-game ritual? Something you always do before a game?
No, I was never really into like the ritual thing though. I mean, I was like stretch. I wouldn't call that a ritual.
No,
you know what I mean?
It's necessary.
Yeah, but like it's like no, I never had it. What about you? You had a ritual?
I mean, I wouldn't say a ritual per se, because I would, do things, whatever felt right that day.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, I would say I did maybe very similar warm-ups before games. Like I do my, as a DB, I would go through, I would watch film and all the most popular routes I would remember. So before the game, I would like do my like shadow footwork of all the routes that I expected to see that game, or at least the most popular ones that I expected to see. So I go on the field. If it's a team that's running a lot of deep routes, then all right, do my go fades, post, things like that. But nothing was exactly the same every time.
Yeah, I would say I would just only say my ritual would be the music, and it wasn't even like a specific song. It was just more of just what I'm vibing to that week, or or let's say a favorite song, like like I'm a huge fan of Fabulous. I can listen to that Breathe 1 to the 2. I can listen to that. I can listen to like all type of stuff at the end of the day. But just music, man. Music motivates me to get things going. Just like the thing is funny, just because like I listen to like mostly hip hop, rap, R&B type of music, but then you would have another teammate, like let's say a Polish teammate, for example, they listen to the hardcore, but they love it, but this motivates them as well.
Definitely.
I remember at Toledo in the States, in the locker room, we would have our stereo, the music, and, everybody's vibing. You got this section. People listen to the rap music, we blasting it, and then you got a guy who just changes it. It's my turn, and puts on something like that
some country or something,
country rock, or that I don't even know what hard metal. Yeah, it's like the hard metal music, and it just brings my vibe, brings my energy down. Yeah. And then this one I throw on my headphones. I just put my headphones in. But it be so loud that you can't even, you got to accept it. You have to accept it.
It's tough, but it's funny. People's music choices are definitely really interesting. People get into some different things. I even had somebody that like listened to classical music. I had a teammate in college that was like really on some classical thing, and I'm like, well, what's up with you? Like, how does that even get you charged up? Because me, I got my favorites. I'm Future, March Madness.
Yeah.
Lil Baby freestyle. Like, I'm really. I got some songs that's my go-to. That's gonna get me charged up.
Exactly,
you know what I mean? But I'm like, he listened to like Beethoven and Chopin. I'm like, bro, how is that getting you right? And he'd be like, bro, it gets me calm before the storm. It gets me in the right mindset. So
each his own, right?
Yeah, exactly. Everybody got their own thing. So it's pretty interesting. Now, when it comes to teams, like there's a quote that I read recently, and it says, "Bad teams, nobody leads. Average teams, the coaches lead, and elite teams, the players have to lead." Do you agree with that?
I agree with that 100% though, because I think like. For an example, I would consider my high school, for an example, an elite program. We in my 4 years there, you know, we always basically had a winning season. And again, our coaches, obviously they were the leaders, but again, they allowed, you know, the captains and the leaders to actually lead the team. So they really didn't have to. I mean, we basically made our coach's job easy. You know, at the end of the day, they really didn't have to do much, and you know, it was more of a player-driven team. And even at Toledo, you know, we at the time, you know, Matt Campbell, he was he's a head coach at Iowa State now. When he was the head coach, his first year as a head coach at the University of Toledo, he was only like 32. So he was like the youngest coach, you know, in college at the time. So him being like, you know, very like, you know, related, you know, to like, you know, the players, you know, he can relate to all the players. So he really let us like, you know, lead the team. And like, but he was that guy. He was that, you know, guy in the middle. Yeah. You know, he was really that he was a great motivator. Like, his speeches was like, you know, priceless. Like he was one of those coaches that you know, you want to win for your coach. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like just because like he really understood us, and I think that was because of his age at the end of the day, you know.
Okay, I get that. Now, I started playing ball when I was 7 or 8. My brother really got me into it. Yeah. And of course, I'm 28 now, so I've been playing for a really long time. I wanna ask you, like, what motivates you to play so long? Like that's we talking, you know what I mean, 20 years of playing football. Like what keeps you going?
I mean, I think it's the passion. You know what I mean? Like you know, like when you started out at 7, 8 years old, you know, you fall in love. It's like your first love. Like you fall in love with the game, you fall in love with the sport, and then like you don't want to never leave it. You don't want to never leave it because this is what you love. So for me, I think it's more of the love of the game and the passion, because again, there were times where like I wanted to be done just on the strength that I wasn't in the NFL. You know what I mean? Like, so for an example, like once I was released from those 2 NFL teams when I did the rookie mini camps, it was like, damn, like it was like I got cheated on.
Yeah, I got you.
I felt like I got cheated on. So then like, you know, I got an agent at the time. I'm still trying to bounce back, get back, you know, do right by my lady, you know, the lead. So that being said, though, like let's say like the game didn't want me, you know, so I felt like that. I felt like the game didn't want me. So like it was times where like it was like, damn, I'm done. You know what I mean? Like I don't even want to do it, but at the same time, I still had that love for the game. So that kept me. It just put me on a whole nother path at the end of the day. And I, luckily, fortunate enough for me, like I was able to, you know, come out, you know, to Europe and pursue a whole new way of life, but still have that same passion, you know, for the game. So it's a crazy thing, man. Like American football can bring you to so many places without you even like, I can't even explain it, like without you even having that like control of it, I should say. You definitely know what I mean? Like it brings you in certain situations. And again, like I would have never thought in a million years that I would end up, you know, living in Europe, you know, playing in Europe and things like that. So yeah, man, it's just the love and the passion of the game kept me going for 20 years. And what would you say?
I mean, I would say it's the same thing. I would say like the love for the game for sure is the first thing. Like, you know what I mean? Just I started playing ball when I was like 7 or 8. My brother introduced it to me. It was like my older brother did. All my older cousins played. Yeah. So you know, I was watching football from a really young age. So definitely. I was sleeping in football blankets and football clothes. Yeah. So I always loved the game. Like I always loved playing it. I never wanted to come inside from playing in the street or playing in somebody's yard. Yeah. So you know what I mean, the love for the game was always is a huge thing for me. So I've always had a deep passion for the game. But I think other than that, I just think the competitiveness that's inside of me. Same. Like I have like a really high competitive drive just to be the best at whatever I'm doing. Like wherever I'm at, I just want to be like, I want to be better than the other person that's lining up next to me or across from me. Like I just want to always be better. Like you know what I mean? I think just from being times, because my high school team was not very good. You know what I mean? So we came from high school and stuff like that. It's like, all right, well, you know what I mean? I was good. You know what I mean? But my team wasn't good, and that, you know what I mean, was for me a time where I had to learn like a lot of life lessons there, where one, it wasn't just about me, but it's also about my team being successful too. Yeah. So I think that life lesson kind of thrusted the competitiveness even higher, because when I got to college, I'm like, all right, now instead of personal accolades, I want my team to do good. Like I want everybody, I mean, I want us to win it as a program. So you know what I mean? For me, from being a D2 guy, you know what I mean, you constantly hear about going D1 or you know what I mean, not being D1. So then, of course, when you go into these these mini camps, you go into these combines, these pro days. It's like you see the D1 guys, and for me, I'm right at them. Like I'm like, give me
right
that
there
guy.
With him.
Yeah, I'm lining up. I'm like, no, give me the guy from Michigan State. You know, give me the guy from Florida. Like I want
competitiveness.
Exactly. I'm like, this is the competitive drive. Like I just want to constantly, you know what I mean, be better than the next person. So I think for me, that mixed with the love of the game, you know what I mean, is what kept me going so long.
Okay. All right.
But we're going to transition soon to somebody who gets it fired up on the NFL level, Mr. Greg Mancz, offensive lineman. So we have him coming up soon, so stay tuned.